Hello! Hello! Once again, welcome to Bard Brunch. I am Jenny. I am your host for this early morning. I don't know. I usually would consider it an early morning on days that I don't have to wake up because time is meaningless these days, I suppose. Everything blends together. But here we pretend that Brunch with Friends is still a thing, where I also make a Shakespeare-inspired food or drink, while also interviewing an upcoming Shakespeare production or a previous Shakespeare production that's already been closed, all of that fun stuff. Today we're going to be interviewing Idle Playthings NYC. They are a super fun troupe. They actually just had a whole social distance outdoor as you like it with like the masks and everything. That was really cool. But first we are going to get on this cocktail. Now, some of you may have actually seen me do this cocktail on Friday for Frigid Fridays. Originally, I was going to do something different today, but with the same base ingredient. But so many people liked it, and also so many people asked me to redo it, that I just gave it a new name. It's a Rosé by any other name cocktail. And yeah, we're going to have a fun time. So, of course, the first thing that I'm going to do with this cocktail is get my vanilla ice cream out, because I also want a little dessert with my alcohol. I'm going to use a teaspoon to get it out because I want it to be small. You know, I want it to be almost in place of ice cubes. I'm also using, for those who know, the Rosé Mansion tumbler, as people have pointed out who have been there before. The Rosé Mansion, while it is not open right now for social distancing purposes and COVID-19 and all that stuff, it was a place where they would give you alcohol in almost every single room of the place. It was all based on rosé. It was what I call an Insta-trap, which is where basically you just go to take photos. But they were really cute photos, so it was fine. Plus, you got alcohol with it. A lot of places, while they are equally cute, they cost the same and you don't get as much out of it. So that's fun. I'm just going to do a couple more scoops of this. Yes, I am licking my thumb, but I'm the one who's going to be drinking this. I wouldn't suggest doing this if you're making this for other people. But if you're making it for just you, go ahead. All right. So, my vanilla ice cream is in. I'm using Ben & Jerry's because I love their stance on politics. Ben & Jerry's vanilla. So yeah, I put just that much in, just like about half. It's, do what you want to do. If you're making this at home ever for your purposes, do whatever you want to do for it. It's your mouth. All right. So next, speaking of the Rosé Mansion, I'm going to have some red Electra Moscato in there as my rosé. I actually found this at the Rosé Mansion. It's sold by Quady, and they deliver, which is wonderful. Glug, 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 glug. There we go. That's a lot, but it's fine because I'm also going to make a little tiny food just to soak up this alcohol. But yeah, the red Electra Moscato is very sweet. I love sweet stuff, as we know by the fact that I just put a bunch of vanilla ice cream into my cocktail as like the first thing that I did. But yeah, it's a deeper red than you expect rosés to be, which is always a little surprising to people. So next, I'm gonna pour in some of my Rita's Peach-A-Rita. I know it's called a sparkling margarita drink, but it's actually a malt beverage. It's canned alcohol, peach flavored, very sweet, very nice. I like it. Also, if you drink the entire can, which is as big as my face, it is 8% alcohol, so it will kill you. I do lovingly call it flavored Dimetap. So yeah, we've got both of those things in here. They're mixing. Next, just so it's not pure alcohol and ice cream, I am going to put my cran peach juice in there. Just fill it the rest of the way up. That's super cute. And then next, what I'm going to do is get way too close to the camera because I forgot to take out my whipped cream. So I'm going to go this way. Hello. Where'd you go, whipped cream? There you are. I took out everything except for the top. I'm afraid to go this way because, as people know, I also don't have a kitchen island. This is several boxes stacked on top of each other just to get to this slight visual point right here. All right, but just some regular whipped cream. I'm gonna, come on. I'm not strong enough to do this like a regular person. I have to do two hands. There we go. So that on top. all cute and whatnot. And for some extra zhuzh, we are going to add, of course, some edible glitter. I am using the brand Fancy Sprinkles Prism Powder. I'm going to be using the red for a little bit of it. They also just released a Halloween. What's wrong with pure alcohol and ice cream? Listen, I'm fine with it, but this is a teaching experience. I don't know. I feel like there are some people that would be like, and you're gonna die. So yeah, I'm just gonna put the glitter a little bit all over in like sections there. And then I'm gonna take the same glitter, but in pink, if I can close this one. Can I close this one? Let's see if I can close it. I can. Okay. So I'm taking the same, but in pink. Again, Fancy Sprinkles Prism Powder. I'm gonna go over the sections that I didn't cover before with the red. That has a bit of a fancy effect. Fancy Sprinkles, fancy effect. All right. So then I get my little straw, that I cut in half, to actually be the right length. And here we go. This is my lovely little Rosé by Any Other Name drink. You can see all the glitter. It's so pretty. It's so shiny. It's so nice. So I'm going to set this on an ice pack right now. Ooh. Somebody's suing Limerita because they thought tequila was in it. It is a very misleading name. I fully understand why they would do that. It is, I guess if you have any allergies to malt beverages and you think that that's not a malt beverage, that would probably kill you or put you in the hospital. Hopefully not kill you. All right. So while I have some time here, I am just gonna fry up some pierogies. They were already pre-made. They're by Millie's Pierogies. Fun fact, I found them from a Reddit post that was a fair workers of Reddit, or like carny workers of Reddit, or whatever. Like, what's the dumbest "sir, this is a Wendy's" moment that you've had with your customers? And if you don't know what a "sir, this is a Wendy's" moment is, it's basically when someone demands something ultra extravagant or that you can't possibly do, and they're in a fast food line, so the worker has to go, "Sir, this is a Wendy's?" But yeah, I have Millie's Pierogies. I've already eaten through all of my potato, cheese, and kielbasa pierogies from them. Also, I know it's pierogi, not pierogies, but I say pierogies because I'm garbage. But I'm just going to do the cheese ones today because I've already ate through all the last ones. So I'm just going to open it up here. But yeah, I found them on Reddit, and their story was that every year at a carnival, they always sell their pierogi. They have a pierogi stand. It's a whole thing. It's obviously pierogi. There's like steam coming out of everything, and people will wait in line forever just to ask, what kind of ice cream do you sell? Now, I know that is a bit stupid, but also I do know a lot of people don't know what pierogi is. So they probably saw the word pie, and they're like, oh, it's a dessert place. Let's go in, children. They completely ignoring all of the signs around them that it's not pie. All right. I usually can only shove down 3 or 4 of these, so I'm going to put 4 in my little pan right now. You can't really see my pan because the focus of this one was the cocktail. But Millie's is great. I love Millie's. So there's that. I'm going to get my plate at the ready. It shouldn't take too long at all. So yeah, I know a lot of the, not sure what the Wendy's moment, but a customer once asked me what herb butter was, and I didn't know what to respond without using the words herb or butter. Yes, that is, yes. I have had moments like that too, where people are like, so what's in this improv show? I'm like, improv. There are people who ask me like the plot of a show that's coming up that's fully improv, or I've had people ask me about like literal Shakespeare shows, like, so like what's like the characters in Romeo and Juliet? That's like the main characters. Child, what? This is a Wendy's. So anyway, frying these up. But yeah, I usually interview virtual productions. This interview coming up is actually a bit different because they found a way to do it in front of people, IRL, but without breaking any social distancing protocols. The characters actually fully wear masks in the show. Later on, we're going to show a little slideshow of some of their stuff, plus a song medley thing that they have so graciously sent to us. Thank you so much for that. Ooh. I don't know. Yeah, you can't see the smoke on here, but let me tell you, I am so glad my smoke alarm is broken because I would disrupt all of the neighbors just trying to make some pierogi. And throw some more. Yeah, actually, I put a lot of butter in there. We're good for the butter. Flippy-doo. I don't have to do the coward's flip on this because they are small. For those who don't know what a coward's flip is, it is when you take a pan, you do that. My personal fave is, so how much of that was made up and how much did you decide ahead of the show? Yes. Oh my God. So for those of you who don't know, on top of my scripted projects, I also run an improv show. Now, for a lot of my scripted projects, I have a lot of people come up to me and say, so how much of that was improvised? Like how much of that was made up? And I'm like, none of it. It was written. I wrote the show. What? But several times during the improv show that I run, I have people come up to me afterwards and say like, so how much of that was written? How much of that was written? And I'm like, same infuriating compliment both ways. So you're saying this is too good to be what you think it is, but we made it all up. We made it all up. Yes, we have practices, but we also make all of those up every single time too. There are so many sets from my show that no one has ever seen because they have been just rehearsals. Ooh, these are coming out so good. Oh, they smell amazing. My cheese pierogi. Oh my. I put my little cocktail on a ice pack over here, but you can see it is wilting a little bit. That being said, it is actually kind of cute. The glitter on the whipped cream is kind of going into a rose shape. Yes, the glitter got everywhere. The glitter got on the book that I stacked on top of my boxes. It also, when I did the glitter last time, it somehow got in my top cabinets into the pots and pans somehow. We're not sure how, we just know that this glitter flies everywhere. Luckily, it's edible glitter, so we're fine. But it is what it is. All right, I'm just gonna do a couple more minutes of these. I don't want to overcook them. Don't want to undercook them either, obviously, but we also have more show to get on to. So for those who have paid attention to Genny projects, one of our Shakespeare shows that we have done many a time is As He Likes It, where the two leads are actually male, and it is a whole wonderful, super fun, super queer time. I miss that show. We haven't done it since 2018. But the show was good enough to get me a residency at Frigid, New York, where we're watching right now. Hooray! So yeah, that's a fun time. Also, I'm a little biased about Frigid, New York because I work there. But I didn't work there before I got the residency. That was all the show, kind of. Also, I'm really nice, kind of. All right, so a couple of these I'm going to consider done because I don't want them to be overdone. Yeah, so that's like the level I want to get. I don't want to like toss it on the floor, but I want y'all to see. And they're gonna be a little more floppy than my potato ones were anyway because they're just only filled with cheese. They're gonna be a little mushy. But that's fine because I like melted cheese. I'm a grilled cheese fanatic. Y'all saw my grilled cheese and Hamlet omelet last week. You're just seeming a little underdone. Just one last one left. It's just seeming a little baby bit underdone. So, great. Awesome sauce. Yes. My beautiful, beautiful babies that I have adopted from Millie's Pierogi. All right, so here's what they look like. They're so cute. All right, so I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take this, and y'all are gonna listen to a little stuff and see some photos from Idle Playthings. Enjoy.
Rosalind, These trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye upon their verses looks shall see thy virtues witnessed everywhere, O Rosalind. Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. La 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 la
Amazing, awesome. So that was just a little sneak peek of what they have done. We're going to talk more about that and what they're planning to do. Please, please welcome Idle Playthings.
Hi, Jenny.
Hello.
Hello, friend. How are you doing?
Pretty well.
Very well.
Awesome. So please tell me a little bit more about the production that we just watched a little bit of photos and songs from.
Of course. So, as you know, As You Like It is this wonderful show about reconnecting with nature, getting back into the outside world, and the way that that can shape identity. And of course, there's this wonderful, quirky cast of characters who all go on their own journey of self-discovery. And the reason that we chose to do this show socially distanced safely in the middle of a pandemic is because we thought these themes of reconnecting to other people and reconnecting to the outside world was so fitting after everyone had been shut away at home for 5 months in quarantine, and that solitude and that kind of fear that we are all still to an extent living in.
Understandable, yeah. Sorry, I'm chewing. All right. I feel like it worked really well from what I've seen of it and what I've heard. So how did the production process go when it came to blocking the whole thing and costuming and making sure everything looked right but was still safe?
Right.
Well,
so the
yeah, no, I was just gonna say we did all our rehearsals outside. So we did it in a park. It was pretty smooth. We actually never went indoors really almost at all, ever, which was different.
Well, that's good, yeah, because that circulated air is always what gets you a lot. If someone in the room has the virus and that air circulates, so outside air does really help. Also, Christine, yes, do you have anything to say about it too?
I was just going to mention that our fearless leader and director, Julie Spina, she would carry around for the first several weeks these 6-foot-long dowels. And every time somebody got too close, she'd say, no. And she'd make sure that we were properly social distancing. The other thing that we did, for the sake of being heard, every once in a while we would have to remove our masks And so when we did that, we had to be, of course, more than 6 feet apart. There were a few moments where we would come within that space. So just had to make sure that we were all taking precautions. And when we did, we'd have our masks up so as not to spread contagion.
Yeah, that, I forgot about that. At one point we were rehearsing our lines, and we would, because it was like a 6-foot dowel, like she said, and we would each hold one end of the dowel, and we'd be kind of like moving around with each other, sort of maneuvering, but holding the dowel. So we were never allowed, and we would do kind of like fun things with it. Like we'd either put it like on parts of our body and like, but I remember that was a fun rehearsal day when we were doing that.
Awesome. And so those songs also, they sounded really, really nice. Not a lot of people turn the poetry into songs that are that good. Can you talk to me about the process of turning those into beautiful little musical numbers?
So, of course, with this show, the music is so central to the heart of the story. And what we really did with it is, for me personally, because I helped cut the script, and we were struggling a bit to find Orlando's character. Because, of course, Rosalind is so brilliant and so witty, and she just has this tremendous energy. Everyone is in love with Rosalind. And we're like, what is it about Orlando that makes Rosalind love him? And so we settled on the idea of Orlando as kind of this musician, of course. And so every time he's on stage, he's got his guitar, he's playing music, and the actor who played Orlando, Josh Rubenstein, was the one who wrote all the music, and that was his voice you heard on the recording as well.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I love turning him into a little guitar playing music boy, because what girl doesn't love that?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so obviously there were the difficulties of making sure it was distanced, making sure that the masks not only looked appropriate for the costumes and the shields and stuff, but that they all were like used at the right time. But were there any other difficulties that you came upon that you weren't expecting to come upon for this show?
Yeah. Yes. There were a few days for sure where we had, by nature of being in the parks, and because the park system isn't currently issuing permits, we felt completely safe to do this. Hello, Amanda. Hello. But anytime you perform outside, you have interesting variables that come into play. Birthday parties, weddings, small children wandering across the stage.
Circle dancing.
So, hi, Amanda. You have just joined us. Hello. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we were just talking a little bit about the show that y'all just completed. That is completed. It hasn't been extended yet.
Well, we don't know. We might do one performance in my parents' backyard.
There you go.
Limited edition. For public consumption in the parks, we are closed.
Okay. What is something that you feel worked better with this new context of the masks and the distancing that hadn't been done as well? Or, I mean, not as well, but what's something that really worked in your production now that you had these parameters that you had to stick to?
One huge discovery for me as an actor was just the extent to which you could be foolish in these situations. And like, I really thought I was a very liberated physical performer, but I didn't realize the extent to which I could push my own body and my own voice and really embraced all the silliness of this play, and that really served this play until we got into that massive kind of arena. Because I've never performed in a space that large, and I've never like performed while acorns were falling on my head or little kids were running on stage, and they all become, it all becomes stuff to not only keep you on your toes, but bring more breath into the text. So, I mean, I could go on and on about all of the really fabulous things that the space did for the script.
Fantastic. Anything else anyone would like to add about that? Things that you personally thought worked much better actually now that you had to do this?
Yeah.
Jonathan.
Well, it was fresh every time. I mean, you can't get bored. But also, I think vocal projection through the masks, as well as, like when you're indoors, I think it's easy to sort of get used to not having to project as much. But on top of it, when you have the mask, and then you have, not just that, but also outdoors. For me personally, I did have to work harder on trying to be heard that I wouldn't have necessarily had to do without the mask or in a smaller space. And not to mention that, there was ambient noise, to put it lightly on a few of the shows, ambient noise, aka DJs in Central Park. And
so many DJs, so many helicopters.
The helicopters.
It's like I feel like there's a shoot off, like a different project of just the soundscape that we experienced while
yeah,
it was like a different score every single time.
Yeah. Well, and with this show, out of all the Shakespeare that exists, this show, I find it impossible to read it inside. Every time I've ever worked on any scenes or monologues from it, my feet start itching. I have to get outside. And I think truly going to the outside world, which is what this play is all about, just gave it such a life of its own. Because when you're under, branches swaying in the wind and all of that, it's a very different feel than if you're inside a theater space with 4 walls and a stage. This play is not well suited for that. Hi, guys.
Hello. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Thanks for the late arrival.
You know what? You made an entrance, and that's what we like. We like an entrance. There you go. So we were talking a little bit about what were some of the pitfalls of doing this outside, and also what worked better doing it the way that it was done this way. Do you have any thoughts on either of those or both?
Well, I hope you guys have already mentioned Leo's first birthday party and the wedding at which the singer had time to say goodbye.
We alluded to it, but
Oh. Well, I will slam it down on the table. I mean, we kind of anticipated the pitfalls. We knew, or at least I knew, that we were going to have to just dive in. It was the way that we staged it, with very minimalistic props. You can really just pack everything up that you have on your backpack. Like on one of our final performances, it was the second to last weekend, in Fort Tryon Park. Another wedding got in our way.
Iconic. That was an iconic scene.
That was amazing, and it turned out to be one of our best shows simply because we were in Fort Tryon Park and up in Washington Heights. We were rehearsing, getting ready up until 20 minutes before we were about to go on, and then a wedding comes in, and we're like, okay. And luckily, we had Benny, who played our touchstone, be our Pied Piper of sorts with his little ukulele, traipsing around Fort Tryon, sending the message to the masses of like, come, free Shakespeare, follow us now to the cloisters lawn. And everybody there was so gung-ho and so excited when we arrived. It was definitely one of our best audiences.
yeah, they were enthusiastic from the get-go, definitely, that audience.
I think one of the coolest things about the audiences for not only like our performances, but for our rehearsals was just like the people who would just be drifting and then would go, Shakespeare? And it was like, it was this fun thing because it suddenly became so much about them. And they so became another member of the cast. And I think it informed the rehearsal process for me so much to just have it in absolute like public. There was no space to hide ever. So we became very comfortable really quick with like, everyone is able to watch this show. We are not like keeping any secrets from anyone. And I think that transparency is so powerful. I've never had that before in a theater experience of just being like, you are a part of this process as much as you are a part of this show. Like that's a magic in and of itself.
And it lent itself to the staging of the show because everybody had to stay in character because they weren't able to hide. I mean, there's only so much you can do with the few trees. Oh, Joey's gone.
Oh no! He was offended by that. There's only so much you can do with your tree. I'm out of here. I love you. So one thing I always like to ask everyone, and we can just go in whatever order we like, but I always love to hear your Shakespeare horror stories, because we've all done so much Shakespeare and so much can go wrong. One that I have talked about before that is Nightmare Fuel. One of the only outdoor shows that my company's ever done was A Midsummer Night's Dream. We did it in Alair State Park in New Jersey. Our first bunch of performances were all rained out, so it was only our final performances that we could actually do outside. Everything else was like moved to a church. So we didn't really get like the lay of the land for the outdoor. And while I was Titania and I was asleep on stage, a bunch of spiders crawled all over my face, and I had to just still be asleep and like somehow get them off of me while not screaming and running through the entire scene. So there was that for me. It doesn't have to be that dramatic, but everyone has that one story of like, oh no, this went wrong, and the audience probably didn't even notice, but it was like a panic for everyone, either backstage or on stage. So whoever would like to go first.
Well, definitely at one of the performances for As You Like It, we did have quite a few rats at one of our locations.
Jonathan, would you like to share your fire extinguisher story? That was very fun.
Yeah, it was a little worrisome. I was using
the first
sage.
Moment for me.
Yeah, I had lit sage, like and it was like the sage bundle, and a couple of days it was really windy, so it would start burning down really low, and it was really getting out of hand. It reminded me of 9/11, to be honest, but we're not going to go there. Super smoke plume coming out of this thing, and I guess the Central Park, was it security or the park guys? They were like,
Smokey the Bear himself arrived with his backpack and his fire extinguisher.
Yeah, they were like, you guys need to put that out, and I didn't know they were talking about it, but I was doing my lines and I was just thinking like, this is getting a little out of hand. I'm gonna have to douse this somewhere. And then Amanda just comes and you just came and stomped it out. And what did you say?
I was not on the scene at that moment, but I got like alarms from Josh, and like the guy was like, I'm going to go on stage right now, and we were like, no, we'll deal with it, and then we, as like a group, just stomped things into the dirt.
I just saw you come out of nowhere and just stomp it out, and I was just like, yeah, but I was secretly relieved.
Forest fires.
Yeah, because the body of Adam was about to be wrapped in a tarp, and usually I smudge the body, but I was thinking if I bring this over the body, the ashes and the coals are going to drop on top of Adam, which is Julie, and we're going to wrap her up with hot coals. So I was like, you can't do that. So there was some burnage concerns going on.
Also, Jonathan is shirtless during all of this. Just
yeah, I'm and pantless. Really, it's like it's like Naked and Afraid. Really.
Is that for As You Like It?
Naked in Central Park, just for the record.
Naked and Unafraid.
Yeah.
Naked. But I think, Jonathan, that was probably you at your most comfortable on stage that I think I've ever seen you. So.
Yeah, it's still more than I wear to the beach. So there's that. Yeah.
Our dear Genny has frozen.
No. Oh no. And disappeared. We could keep going around with horror stories. I've got another.
We've hijacked the show.
That's okay.
We're your new hosts. Joey, is there anything that you would like to talk about the upcoming show?
With the
here on the Bard Brunch.
Horror stories. So Titus has sort of become this it's funny because we just came out of rehearsal not but an hour ago. And as of today, it has really cemented itself as a story of there's open flame in it now, so it really has become a campfire ghost story. There's a lot of demonic possession that's going on in Titus Andronicus. So we're really leaning into this is being our Halloween show.
And when does it open?
opens October 9th.
And runs
So
until
soon.
So soon, 3 weeks from 2 days ago, from Friday. So it'll be that weekend, the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Then we'll take a weekend off. And then we will come back the 23rd, 24th, 25th. And then we will have 4 shows the weekend of the 29th, 30th, 31st, and then we'll close on November 1st. And they will all be at Grant's Tomb on 123rd and Riverside.
okay. That is Halloween territory.
Yeah, and we visited it at night a couple weeks ago, and it's all lit up purple, like behind the pillars of Grant's Tomb. It's illuminated purple, and they have these creepy orange lights lining the park. It'll be really
It's not
spooky.
Halloween at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I can sort of explain the way we're taking. Oh, we got
Jenny's back.
Welcome to the show, Genny.
Entire apartment lost internet for a few minutes there.
Oh,
I was panicking, but I'm so glad that y'all just kept going. Woo! Yes.
We're used to it.
Yeah, we're gonna rebrand,
A little
but you're
recap
back.
of what I missed.
I was just starting to talk about Titus Andronicus, which is our next.
Yes. Oh my God! Please talk more about that.
Yes. So the take that we sort of have on Titus is, and Christine can jump in whenever she feels ready, is we ended up creating a very bizarre adaptation of Titus. First of all, for logistical reasons, because the CDC guidelines, we want to keep our gathering of our company under 10 people. And Titus has a million characters, and you can't really cut them or combine them fully because they all die at some point. So they have to remain distinct people. So the version of Titus that we've created has tracks, because we're playing with this idea that as people perform murder and extreme violence, they lose their sense of identity. It's sort of like that Harry Potter idea of you can split your soul by killing people. That's what's going on in our Titus. So we have characters jumping from body to body. I was talking about how it's become sort of like a campfire ghost story with some demonic possession. Tamara's a witch. Very spooky, scary, going hard on that Halloween theme.
I hope Arya Stark is just there for one transition, like making her way across.
We could play with removing faces.
We could play with changing faces. That's
Yeah, I would just say in approaching the text with this idea of it is a ghost story and how our actions haunt us and those around us, it really is such a timely play, especially obviously we're approaching the election on November 3rd. Everyone, please, please, please vote. And just this idea of what it looks like for a country in turmoil, because the war is over. The play begins with this triumphant, like, oh, huzzah, we're done. The battle is won. But the battle never really ends. And everyone who has perpetrated violence in this ongoing war continues to do the same once they return home. And that is something that certainly rings true for Americans today. And in this ghoulish other world in which souls can possess body after body and everyone is affected by the actions of everyone else, I think there is a much deeper truth to that as well that we're trying to access with the changes that we've made.
Awesome. And you guys may have already talked about this while I was panicking trying to get my internet back. But do you have any dates when that might be playing?
Yeah.
We do.
Joe.
So it'll open October 9th, which is 3 weeks from this past Friday. We'll perform that weekend, the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Then we'll take a weekend off, and then we'll perform the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of October, and then the 29th, 30th, 31st, and 1st of November. And all performances will be in the evenings at Grant's Tomb on 123rd and Riverside.
That's so cool and fun. I think we have one October date left if you guys would ever like to come back on the show and talk specifically Titus. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. That's going to be so fun and cool.
Absolutely. We'd love to come back. I'm sure Julie,
Yay!
Christine.
Yes.
I'll hopefully be here the whole time when that happens.
We have a whole fun season planned, so we'll have more announcements and more fun things. So
Y'all did a takeover, a bar brunch. Oh my god!
There has been a coup.
It was all planned. It was all very cool.
Yes, our new host, everybody. But thank you all so much for coming on the show. Thank you for your patience with the technical difficulties. As you like it looked so amazing and wonderful, and I'm so excited for your Titus Andron because I had no idea what was up next for y'all. So now I'm just like, I need to see this spooky campfire Halloween spooky spook show. So excited. Is there anything else that you want the audience to know before we say our goodbyes until next time?
Keep theater alive, keep creative, keep inspired. I think so much of this was born from us just itching to make community, and yeah, do what you can with the people in your life. I think it makes all the difference. That's my big takeaway for this time period.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I heard there might be a little bit of a name change of the company coming soon.
that's part of our grand announcements.
All right. So once those links get updated, I will make sure everyone knows that those links are updated. But for right now, to find everyone, the links that have been scrolling at the bottom are so far accurate.
So far accurate. So just a bit of information. You can still find us at Idle Playthings NYC.com. Our social media is a bit in flux right now. We're in the process of rebranding. But we will be sending out a newsletter to all of our subscribers on the website about our future plans and what we have to look forward to. So you can subscribe to the website right now, and then we'll turn you over to where we're moving to. And this was born out of this desire to create art in a time when art more than ever is needed. And we've had so many people come up to us and tell us what good we've been doing in the community. We, as Tennessee Williams says, rely on the kindness of strangers. So please hit that donation link so we can keep bringing art to you guys, because we have so many great projects planned and we really want to bring them into your lives.
Amazing. So yeah, everyone, please subscribe on the Idle Playthings website to your updates about the rebranding and where you'll be able to find them shortly after, and also Titus Andronicus as a spooky spook show. I'm so obsessed with this concept. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Again, I would love to have you back. I will send out emails about that October date as soon as I'm done here, essentially.
Well, thank you.
Thanks so much for having
Look forward to it.
Happy quarantine, y'all.
Happy quarantine.
Happy
Happy
fall.
quarantine.
Fall, too.
Happy fall.
Bye, Jenny.
Whew. So that was a little horrifying for me when the internet went out on every device we had here and I couldn't reconnect. But I'm so happy that they kept the ball rolling. Again, that was Idle Playthings. They are a spectacular group of people. I'm so impressed with everything that I've seen of theirs. Next week, we have our first international show joining us. Queensland Shakespeare Ensemble from Australia is going to be joining us to talk about Macbeth in the Dark, which is their radio play of Macbeth. Also, a fun thing, Braving the Bard, who was on with us last week to talk about Midsummer and Taming of the Shrew, their radio plays. Their radio play of Taming of the Shrew just dropped today. So if you liked Midsummer and if you liked them, or if you didn't listen to Midsummer but you just liked them on the show, you can listen to their Taming of the Shrew out now. But again, thank you so, so much to Idle Playthings. I would love to have you back, especially when you're rebranded and all of that stuff, so we can throw all those new links out to everybody all like that. But for right now, we are just going to take those down and roll the credits. And as usual, I'm going to close out on a monologue because I'm a self-centered person. We are going to be going from A Midsummer Night's Dream to celebrate the end of summer. And I always have to stand over here because it squishes my screen. All right. Oh, Spite. Oh, hell. I see you are all bent to set against me for your merriment. If you were civil and knew courtesy, you would not do me thus much injury. Can you not hate me, as I know you do, but must mock and join in souls? Oh, you must join in souls to mock me too? I can't read. If you were men, as men you are in show, you would not use a gentle lady so. To vow, to swear, to super praise my parts, and I'm sure you hate me with your hearts. You're both rivals to love Hermia, and now both rivals to mock Helena. A trim exploit, a manly enterprise to conjure up tears in a poor maid's eyes. With your derision, none of noble sort would so offend a virgin and extort a poor soul's patience, all to make your sport.